Hello, darling.
Hi,
What's your name, honey?
Pamela.
Pamela, welcome to the help desk. What can I do for you?
What you can possibly do for me is to direct me. The question I have is, I've been in a relationship for 5 years, and I am trying to choose whether to stay or leave because I don't feel it honors me at my deepest level. And I don't know whether
You don't
that's
feel what?
that the relationship honors me at my deepest
Honors
level.
you? Well, then get out. We've settled that.
But is it the relationship's responsibility or just mine? If I'm not kind,
No, we're done. We're done. I'm telling you the truth. We're done.
you know that?
No, you know that. I'm just giving you back what you already know. You need someone to do that. What you need is someone to validate you what you already know and are afraid to know. But when you feel so
what
sure,
stops, and I do know it, but what has stopped me?
because you don't want to know that. Who wants to know that? It's not good news. Who wants to know bad news?
That's it.
I'm sorry, but that's it.
No, that's fine.
It's like, I don't want to know this, but it's true. It's not honoring me. I don't feel good. It doesn't make me feel good about myself. Who stays there?
But is it somebody else's responsibility to make me
What
feel
difference does it make? What do you care? Is it the manufacturer's my responsibility or mine that my shoes don't fit? They don't fit.
Thank you. Not the quickest one here.
Done.
Thank you.
Well, okay, it's meant to be an appetizer. Don't overthink it, okay? CMA has its own version. Okay, we call that STOPIT. Stop it. This is a more refined version. Okay, now putting all this joke aside, tell me, okay, what can you say about humans' behavior? No, I mean, don't look at the coach, okay? I think we can do better than that. Okay? So we're not evaluating, the coach. Okay, we want to hear. I want to hear from you. What's your thought about what can you say about humans' behavior from the? I mean, when you look at this client seeking for help, should I walk out of this relationship? Come on, unmute yourself and just, go for it. Tell us. No one, you are laughing. Okay, you are enjoying yourself. Okay, so let's just share your joy together. Share with us what's on your mind.
Yeah, very much. I actually, what I actually felt was like, she had the idea in her mind, and she just did a reconfirmation or a kind of affirmation from the coach. So the decision already made, right?
Yeah, what does it tell us about human behavior?
Yeah, so we need a second opinion, right? We are.
Why do we need second opinion? What drives us to have second opinion?
We don't believe in ourselves, I believe. Yeah.
Why we don't believe?
We don't trust the process.
Victor, go for it. Victor was so anxious. Let me just say something. Okay, Victor, go for it.
Well, I guess about the human behavior that most humans don't trust the process. They want the quick fix. They want
They want to fix
the fast
everything.
answer.
I mean,
They want the fast answer.
God, they are a fixer. But in life, there's more than just fixing things up. Okay,
True.
you can change things. You can
There is the
redesign
process you
things.
have
You
to go
can
through.
refine things. There's so many things to do. Why do you need to just fix it?
Yes.
It's like, why are you tying your hands, and make yourself a slave? That I can only fix it. Wow, there's so many ways of looking at things. Right? Can you see how problematic that is? Well, because we are part of the human being. Okay, don't laugh at this client. Okay, we are not immune from it. Okay, as long as we are a human being, we are not immune to this way of reacting or responding to situation. But the good news is that as a human being, we are flexible. Wow, some of you guys need to do yoga. I'm not insulting you, but my wife will say, Ben, you're a big elephant. You can't even stretch. That is how rigid, we can become if we do not regularly awaken our awareness, our consciousness to observe, wow, how am I responding to situation? Oh my God, this is how I'm seeing myself. That is available to all of us. We cannot fix things. A shadows, can you fix a shadows? As long as there's a sun, do you know, as long as there's a sun, S-U-N, as long as there is a S-U-N, you will have a shadow.
Shadow.
Because you're not a ghost. Okay, that's depending on your definition of what is a ghost. Okay. I mean, in Eastern philosophy, a ghost doesn't have a physical body, and henceforth, when light shines on them, you're not able to find a shadows. Okay, at least this is Eastern philosophy, right? Okay, as long as you are a human being, you cannot run away from your
Shadow.
shadows. But then if I can't run away from the shadow, what's supposed to do about it? Don't look at it. Okay, don't look at it. Can you do that? But I don't look at it. I just saw the shadow just behind me. Yeah, it's just always behind you. If it's not behind you, where you expect your shadow to be? In front of you? Or maybe the sun is at the back of, then your shadows is in front of you, right? So that's what we have to reckon. That's what we need to reckon. That shadows is a part of who we are. Got it? So now the question is, how are we as professional coach, how are we going to embrace that? Now, again, going back to the analogy of a rainbow. Is a rainbow 7 colors or multiple colors? Ooh.
Unlimited.
Exactly how many colors? 1 million, 1,000,001, 1,000,002. What? Great, then you miss the point. The point is that we need to be able to see perspective as a spectrum, that there is no absolute boundary between yes or no, right or wrong, but this is a spectrum. And the more we are able to stretch our perspective broader, then we will be like our yeah. Joe, is that how we call grandmother in New Zealand? Yeah. Oh no.
No, yeah. But it's actually, it's Greek.
Oh, it's
actually
Greek.
Greek for yeah.
Yeah. How do you call grandmother in your own language? Africa continent. Lucy, how do you call grandmother in your own language?
Nyanya.
Nyanya, same like us. In Chinese, we call it nai nai. We often associate grandmother, unfortunately not grandfather. I don't know why is that. We always associate the matriarch, which is our grandmother, as a wise lady, right? So as we learn to see things as a spectrum, the rainbow has multiple colors, and we're okay with that. That allows us to deal with the situation more maturely. Agreed? And that will give your conversation the depth in it. Cool? Great. So now that we know that shadows is a part of who we are, and we to some degree learned to embody that. So with that, I'm going to take you to the next part of the learning where I will formally introduce to you what exactly is shadow work. Now, this is not an attempt to give this an exhaustive explanations, but it's just to give an idea so that we have a frame of reference to talk about what exactly are we referring to. Is that okay for everybody? Great. So I'm not going to do the explanation because I always mess things up when I try to explain things. And I'm going to leave the job to someone else who is able to clearly give you an idea what exactly is shadow work. And then from there, we're going to deep dive into a case study to take a look on how we as professional coaches can invite our client into a space for them to lean in. The question that the catch of the day is to lean in, to learn a little bit about something around who they are. Okay, so enjoy this short presentation on what is a shadow work.
Hi, this is Sam Leonard. Now, in this video, I'm going to talk about shadow work. Now, your shadow self was a term that's familiarized by Carl Jung, who's a psychologist, and he noted that we have two sides of ourself. We have our conscious and our subconscious. And our shadow self is parts of us that we've disowned, we've suppressed, and we've rejected. And the process of doing shadow work is bringing this shadow self, bringing it into the conscious, bringing awareness to this part of our disowned self. Now, just because it's our shadow self doesn't mean it's necessarily negative. There's positive and negative parts of ourself that we can reject. And the whole thing about your shadow self comes from when you're growing up. We seek approval, we seek love, and depending on your social group and your family, parts of your behaviors or yourself will be approved, some will be disapproved. And we tend to take the ones that are disapproved and we put them into our subconscious, we suppress them and we reject them. We're not always aware that they're there. And there's also parts of us in it that we will exaggerate as well, depending on, the approval of that social structure. Now, the thing is with your shadow self, if you don't address it, if it's something that you ignore, then you can find these behavioral patterns, this self-sabotage that we often have, this behavior that we do, we don't really know why, and it comes from not really addressing our shadow self. But the problem is that because we've rejected and disowned parts of ourself, then there is pain associated with these disowned parts of ourself that we've put into our shadow self. So bringing up these awarenesses of our shadow self can be painful, it can be difficult. But here's the thing. When we're going through life is always giving us lessons. It's always teaching us lessons or giving us opportunity to learn things. And if we don't have those lessons, or we don't take those lessons, then we just get them repeated time and time again. And this is a universe telling us to face our fears, face ourselves, increase our awareness, and increase our and it's like increasing this awareness of these aspects of our shadow self. And the way that we do the shadow work is by a process of increasing our awareness, of constantly asking ourselves challenging questions to increase our awareness, to bring out this shadow side of ourself. And by doing this, we come to a level of not only increased awareness, but a new level of wholeness, of accepting all sides of ourselves, of accepting the shadow parts of ourselves, and a new level of self-acceptance and a new level of self-love. So doing the shadow work, it can be really difficult, it can be quite painful, and revealing this whole concept of increasing self-awareness is a difficult one, because it takes a level of self-reflection and asking difficult questions, bringing up difficult parts of ourselves that we've disowned and rejected. And so this whole process of shadow work, of increasing awareness, can be a difficult path, but it's extremely worthwhile because you come to this level of self-acceptance. So hopefully this video has been of value to you, talking about shadow work, and I'll see you in the next one.
Thank you. Wow, isn't that valuable? Okay, great stuff. There's a lot of good stuff there. Love to hear love to gather some input from some of you. What stood out for you? Or what is it that you're appreciating about what this gentleman had shared? Yeah. Love to hear some thought about Lucy. Go for it, Lucy.
Thank you, Ben. what I heard that I never knew before was that my shadow self can be something positive about me, not necessarily negative, and that I have rejected in my life. So that's an aha moment for me there.
Wow, isn't that wonderful to know that there are just some part of us that we have forgotten? And it's kind of like life situation just awaken it or just give us that opportunity to get in touch with it, right? So it doesn't have to be necessary to dark Vegas. Okay, as in the dark side of the force, right? So that's one perspective. Very good, to have that balance up. Anyone else? Well, I love that you speak. Okay, go for it, Hassan. Thank you, Joe, for joining us today, Hassan.
Thank you. Hello, Ben. I was curious to know, as Lucy said, that it can be also the shadow that we rejected can be positive. So is it related to, or can it be related that we are giving up on ourselves? That's why we rejected the positive side?
Might be. Oh no, I'm not sure whether we reject the positive side, but what it means, what I think the speaker tried to advocate is that our perception of shadow doesn't always have to be that it is the dark side of the evil side. I mean, the dark or evil side. The shadow could be a way of alerting us. It could be a lesson that is waiting for us to, like a book that is waiting for us to open and read it. So it doesn't have to be always like an evil side.
It's open for possibilities.
Yes, it could be just something that, wow, I may have some, like maybe, wow, I maybe have something that I've not processed it in my own experience, and then I kind of like just left it there. But then suddenly now I got this opportunity to revisit it and say, wow, like for example, I always share with Joe. I mean, I was talking to Joe last week. I mean, I was just saying, wow, in my own personal reflection this year, I'm just asking myself, Ben, why are you so mean? I mean, what do you mean by Ben is so mean? Yeah, look at the way he speaks to the students in the core level where they don't get it right. He was like showing his bulldog, his angry face. I said 10 words. You do not know how to count mathematics. 10 words, 10 words. Right. So it was like, wow, where did that come from? Why am I so rude? When students cannot get it right, where does it come from? Then I just realized it's just being a part of me who strive for excellency. But that strength of mine somehow get a toll on me that manifested itself in a high expectation of students. You must get it right. This is the right way, right? So did I reject my part and say, oh, Ben, you are just uncompassionate? And I was just saying, no, Ben, you're a very compassionate being. Okay, this is me comforting myself. Okay, but what it means is that it doesn't have to be evil. I don't have to look at that shadow, from this angle of, oh, you're bad and just how judgmental you are and how critical you are. I can take a look and say, wow, maybe just this is one part of it that I have not fully reflected more. And I see, since I'm aware of it, wow, how can I now maintain high energy and yet in a more respectful manner? Right? So that is one aspect of it. And Colleen was laughing. Yeah. We've been talking about that. Great, thank you. Now we have Rachel Cross raised up her hand. Rachel, would you like to go for it?
Yeah, I was just intrigued about how powerful our environment is, in that even if our qualities are good, if they're not accepted by others, that's when we just disown them and reject them, and we can suppress really good parts of ourselves and not acknowledge that they're present.
Precisely. So there's a lot of things that somehow when we're not able to process, it gets chucked away somewhere.
Or if other people don't value them.
Yeah, especially when you're not validated or valued or acknowledged or whatever, we chuck it somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I mean, unless you got a whole storeroom that is as big as a whole football court, okay, that we can chuck everything there. But eventually things catch up with us. Wow, thank you, Rachel. Now let us go for Victor, and then we move on to the most exciting part of today's learning session. That is a case study. Okay, Victor, go for it.
Yeah, thank you, Ben. Just I wanted to ask you a question. It's all about.
Can we save the questions later, Victor? So sorry for interrupting. Is that okay?
Okay,
for
okay.
us to put questions so that we can? Thank you
of
for doing
course.
that. Yeah. Isn't Ben doing well right now?
You're
Give
amazing.
Ben a round of applause. Some of you will be scratching your head. What is this guy trying to do? Okay, I'm trying to be respectful by apologizing. Oh, I'm so sorry that I need to interrupt you.
No, it's okay.
Okay, great. Give grace to yourself as we work with your shadows, understanding that all of us, to some degree, has a shadow. And when we're able to exercise grace and compassion, self-love and acceptance, understanding that we don't necessarily always have to address our shadow. Well, that's the language this speaker has mentioned. And if I were to give my 5 cents contribution, I would say, wow, addressing it is one aspect of it. What if we can say, wow, let's examine it. Let's see what we can learn from it so that we can gain something from the process. And what I'm advocating right now is that there is a possibility for us to explore a negative charge element like a shadow or a dark side without getting into that scary space of like going for a psychotherapy conversations, where it's all about that deep issues and digging and stuff like that. Well, you might be thinking, okay, how is that possible? Well, fundamentally, if you recall back what you have learned at the core level, we focus on experience. That means we are looking at how our clients is relating to the situations. And what we are interested about is the intersection point between situations and clients. As they come, these two circles, as they come together, the intersection point between the two circles is what I call experience. And what if we have the capacity to create a reflective thinking in the process where our clients is not using analytical, logical thinking to look at their experience, but they are able to use reflective thinking to look at the experience. It means, technically speaking, as a coach, if I can strengthen my ability to make observations not around the details of the situation, observations into the being of the clients, the observation skills that we taught you in the class, okay, in the core level, in the advanced level, or at the mastery level. In each level, you are presented with a new catalog of things to observe. Okay, so they all sit on this nice little catalog we call the element of the story. It's just that it gets a little bit more sophisticated, bombastic, and it grows in sizes as you move in different levels of training, which means that as you give yourself more time in each level, you should be capable of observing more range of things, right? So if me as a coach will be diligent enough to strengthen my observations, increase my vocabulary of what I need to pay attention to, I'm able to help my client to bring things that is hidden, but able to be detected from my own training as a coach in sharpening my observation. Now, do you understand? Sometimes we just don't see things, right? We just miss things, right? And henceforth, we need to train ourselves to observe things. Okay, so as I'm able to make the observation, it means that potentially I'm able to bring something that is unconscious to my clients to their conscious knowing. It's always there. But because I'm able to right now, in a very succinct manner, present it in a way that strikes clarity to their mind, they are able to now receive it at the conscious level. But that's only at the beginning stage, conscious knowing of something that is there. And now that they're conscious about it, it's only a brief moment. Remember, that's only a brief moment in this moment of the conversation. As the coach bring forth the observation to the client in a succinct manner, the clients in this moment, conscious knowing is opened. And what I will do as a coach is to seize that moment to help the client to examine something right now. And as the clients examine it, I'm inviting my clients to reflect on the awareness that is arising at this moment. Wow, isn't that profound? Okay. Okay, so this is the whole process framework of being able to invite our client to reflect on to reflect on the awareness that is rising in the moment as the coach is able to bring that observation to the client. So far, so good? Great. Sounds abstract. No idea what exactly this person is trying to say. Don't worry. Now we're going to take you to the swimming pool. Okay, we're going to push you down to the water right now where we start to see how exactly does it work in a real life conversation. Ready? Good. So I'm going to pull out the transcript. Just give me a moment here. So why don't I do this? Okay. I'm going to yeah, I forgot where the transcript is. That's the problem. Okay. I should be able to pull out the transcript. Just give me a moment to find where exactly the transcript is. That? Okay. I think let's not waste time. Let's just go in and listen to the recording. And I'm going to put the, are you able to see the transcriptions? No, what happened to, oh yes, now you can see the transcriptions. Okay, so we're going to depend on the transcription to make sense of the recording. Now, as we are listening to this recording, I'm going to pause it from time to time, and then we'll use that to unpack and use it to unpack what is going on in the conversation. So this conversation is is relatively old. It happens in one of the live coaching back in 2020. No, this is what I do personally for myself. I take 2 years cycle to sharpen up my skills. First year will be purely research work, examine things that I want to examine, and then create some applications, and then figure out what is it that I want to do with these applications. And then I will spend at least another 1 year to perfect the applications that I've created. In this particular episode, in this particular segment in 2020, this is where I've come to the end part of me perfecting the applications on working with negative elements. Okay, and so in part of the and then I invite my precious students to be my guinea pigs, in which I get to experiment it, how the applications actually works, and then examine it myself to see is there anything else I need to fine tune around the applications. Okay, so you will get to see here, a relatively quite established approach of working with a negative element. Ready to go? Great, well done. So, and by the way, I'm in this journey of I strongly believe that there could be a dynamic alliances between the transformational approach and the theory of psychotherapy. And I think the two doesn't have to be on the headlock term. I think there is a place in which we can marry the two together in a context of a coaching framework or within the ICF core competency. Okay, so that's my quest way back in 2019. Okay, and since then, I've been experimenting with different form of applications, to help to bring about a deeper form of coaching for my client. So let's listen to it. And at this point, I need to put the recording on pause because I do not want it to be recorded and be available in the public.